Yo, what's up, guys? Already went today. I'm gonna be talking about the Thunder and Nuggets series. Now, my prediction right off the bat was Thunder in 6. The outcome, Thunder in 7. Want to give a good amount of credit and shout out to the Nuggets for making this a lot more of a competitive series than I thought. Nothing against them, but the Thunder I just had as one of the most dominant teams in the NBA, and at worst the second highest odds of expectance are honestly for me to go ahead and win the NBA Finals and at least get to the finals. Obviously, with them, the Celtics, they go down 3-1 in that game 5. Tatum goes down with a torn Achilles. In game 6, Jaylen Brown had a really good game. Derek White had a great game, and then in game 7, they just not game 7, but game 6, they needed a lot more than what they got from their from the team overall, man. But hey, let's talk about the Thunder and Nuggets series overall. So I just right off the bat, just shout out to Aaron Gordon. He had a grade 2 hamstring strain and played through it. He had like a double on that. He really couldn't get up and jump, but he was getting put back. He was getting rebounds. He was trying his best, but again, this is a multiple week injury, and he was playing through it. So shout out to him. Another thing I want to mention as well is there are 4 teams left. Obviously, the Thunder, and then they have the Timberwolves, and then they have, the Eastern Conference being Jalen Brunson and Knicks against Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers. On the other end, you also have SGA and the Thunder and Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. So out of those 4 guys, no matter what team wins, one of those guys will go ahead and win a ring, and their teams will also win a ring, which I believe is just like really beautiful for the sport, great for parity. All those guys are relatively, upper echelon players in the NBA. We're talking about like Brunson, who will be one of the All NBA teams. You have Halliburton, who might sneak into All NBA third team. Ant is probably going to be on All NBA second team, and then we have yeah, man. And we have SGA is obviously going to be All NBA first team, and also probably going to win MVP, which watch them announce that literally game 1 of the what's it going to right before it. Watch it be like a troll. I'm excited to see who Al goes to. Obviously, we know it's going to go to SGA, but still, imagine if randomly game 7 they announced it before today, and Jokic just went off for like 60-point triple-double, but they didn't. The Nuggets just they just went out terrible, man. Jamal Murray wasn't in his bag, Michael Porter Jr. didn't give them anything. Christian Brown had a great first half, but overall, it was like second half Christian Brown. I mean, you really expect this season more of him. About like 7-8 minutes to go left in the game. They just emptied the bench. Hunter Tyson, Zeke Naji, Jalen Pickett in the game. It's like, yeah, it's over. And then Strother came in, didn't give them what he gave them in game 6. Yeah, it was rough. Nuggets fans, you guys want to bring back Adelman, or do you want to go ahead and look at somebody else? I don't know. He brought you to game 7 against one of the best teams in the NBA, if not the best team in the NBA. Have the best record in basketball, a 68-14 record. But in game 7, Jamal Murray, the questions are there, man. They're calling him a Lakers merchant, Bubble Murray merchant. I don't know. And then for the Thunder, Jalen Williams coming out and having a phenomenal 17-point first half. That was a great jolt for that team overall. Defense was impeccable. A lot of people were like, "Oh, they're playing jail ball defense. Oh, they're fouling." The refs aren't calling this, so I'm not gonna complain about that personally. No, the Thunder went out and did their thing. They forced a lot of turnovers. They hit their shots. They went on massive runs. Especially to end off that first half. It was impeccable. It was amazing. But yeah, let's get into everything that I have written down right here. So game 1, we saw Alex Caruso have a legacy game. He was phenomenal on both ends of the floor. He also started today's game in the second half over Isaiah Hartenstein, who I believe wasn't fouled, who wasn't really playing particularly well. So Caruso, they traded Josh Giddey for him, instantly signed him to a 4-year deal for $80 million. And he has, been a godsend for them defensively. And in this series, he's hitting his threes. Today, he hit a contested shot in Christian Brown's face. So I was like, you're not passing that ball to SGA. You're taking that shot over Christian Brown. Cash, nothing but net. Fairs, Caruso. He also had 5 threes in that first game. Shout out to Caruso, just an absolute menace inside. He was guarding Jokic today, a lot of people like, oh, he was guarding Jokic, but he was fouling him. If the refs didn't call him there, I ain't complaining. Simple. Shout out so. They had the most points with 87 in NBA history in Game 7 off back-to-back free throws made by Chet Holmgren to end off that first half. That was straight belt. Game 2, you had a really good game from Aaron Wiggins and a big game result from Cason Wallace, who remains one of the most underrated role players in basketball. You know, he is a pest defensively. He's a hound. Also believe he's pretty underrated at, going out with the ball, with speed with ball when it's transition, and especially when he's hitting his three, especially from the quarters. I mean, Queso is also, he had a left-hand dunk today on Jokic. I mean, he's a really underrated role player, and then SGA, his fourth quarter and overtime in that game, that Game 2, he sold. J-Dub had a legacy game. J-Dub had a legacy game, man. And then, iHeart, he missed 3 floaters, his patented left-handed floater, including airballing the first one and then missing the second and the third one. That was rough. Unfortunately, I did miss Game 4 because Mother's Day, went on a boat in Boston, out dinner, with the fam for Mother's Day. Come on. Once in a blue moon, the other day I went to Kendrick and SZA concert. Not today, but Mother's Day, come on. Like, I'm usually locked in, but sometimes it's like, yeah. So, yeah. I caught, like, in the middle of it, the first quarter and the ending. Bits and pieces, though. I believe in the first quarter, like, they struggled mightily to score. They had, like, less than, like, 10 points. The Nuggets did, and they had, like, a combined, like, 25 or 26 points. And, it was just brutal. They couldn't both hit threes, and at the end, SGA missed a couple shots, but the Nuggets didn't take full advantage of it. So, hey, at the end of the day, they won. Yeah, I feel like SGA had an up and down playoffs series against the Nuggets. The last 3 games he stepped up after that smiling clip or photo, whatever the hell it was, on ESPN when they lost. He has been really good since that game, those last 3 games. That was Game 4, 5, 6, 7. He stepped up. He was phenomenal today as well. A lot of also just times that he would pass the ball to his teammates and it would just like airball or miss layups. Like, SGA could have had literally a 38 in like 8 or 9, maybe even 10 assist game. Like, SGA, he played a really good game today as well. Alex Caruso, SGA, J-Dub especially, I want to shout out in that Game 5. SGA hit J-Dub hit clutch threes at the end of that fourth quarter. That was an insane game. Jokic hits that shot where he's falling away. 23.9 seconds, the perfect defense. Throws up the prayer. Boom. It goes in. Don't worry though, J-Dub might open it in the left corner. Cash. Also want to shout out in Game 5 as well. Lu Dort was going insane in the fourth quarter. He was in threes. He damn near was literally willing them back. He was hitting those massive threes. He was struggling early on. But Lu Dort was hitting those threes from the corner, from above the break, and the wing. That stuff. And J-Dub, Game 6, he was terrible, though. The Thunder struggled immensely from 3. But also, Game 7, you want to know who stepped up? Jalen Williams. Now, I wasn't calling Jalen Williams by his nickname that we all know him by. I was calling him Jalen Williams. I wasn't calling him that. I was calling him what was it? I think I was calling him Teletubby, because that's his like spam account on Instagram. Teletubby. Jalen Williams after today for the foreseeable future. Unless you have another disaster class like you showed last game. J-Dub is officially back. He played a phenomenal game today, especially in that first half. He was getting to the rim, he was hitting threes, he was getting to the mid-range, stopping and popping. He was pretty good defensively as well. Another way to put up bro, J-Dub is defense for sure. And then he was just out in transition, man. He got a dunk, he got a layup to end that first half. He was just amazing. Denver really forced OKC to grow up this series. Like, we literally saw that. They had to will They gave them a great fight. It's just game 7. The better team prevailed. You know, that defense was amazing. Again, a lot of people are like, oh, it was fouling. I don't know if it was just defense. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Now to the Nuggets. Aaron Gordon's out there, like I mentioned, playing with that grade 2 hamstring strain. He also had a pretty good series as well, like a really good series. He had a immensely clutch shot in game 1 of the series. We know Russ gets the pass, gives it to Aaron Gordon, and he doesn't go ahead and take the shot. He instead goes to the wing, passes it to him. Aaron Gordon, game-winning 3, bang, just rips the heart out of OKC in that game 1. They had that game wrapped up, and then it went to a foul game. And then Chet misses both free throws after they foul him. Russ gets it, makes a smart pass to Chet Holmgren, not to Chet Holmgren, but to Aaron Gordon. Bang! That just sucked the life out of them. Like that was tough. And Jokic also hit a clutch 3 as well, I believe, right in Isaiah Hartenstein's face. Bang! We learned this series that Isaiah Hartenstein is not the defender that you want to put on Jokic. It probably is Chet Holmgren, and at points, Doris Burke was shouting out Jalen Williams, J. Will, and maybe at points even Caruso, like we saw today as well. You know, he just has quick hands. You know, he obviously has the height and weight disadvantage, but he does have the hands at the end of the day. I also want to shout out Game 3, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and Aaron Gordon once again with that clutch 3, man. Aaron Gordon played a really, really clutch series. The Nuggets also played a really good end of the 4th in OT in the altitude in Game 3. That was a great overtime game. You know, they went up 2-1 in the altitude, and then Game 5 goes around. You want to know who steps up? Jokic. Jokic also, like SGA, had an up and down series. SGA was really good in the last 3 games in particular, and then Jokic, especially in that Game 5, was amazing. Jokic. He was special. That was a spiritual experience in that Game 5. You want to know who sold in that Game 5, though? MPJ. MPJ, brother. You sold. And then Game 5, we saw a massive... No. Yeah. I wrote that down correctly. I said Game 5. No, Game 6. Julian Strawther was in his bag. Multiple threes, reverse layup. And then today, he just wasn't really good until garbage time. So, yeah, not great from Strawther today. But Game 6 this season wouldn't be... They probably would not be playing a Game 7 without Strawther's performance in that third quarter, in particular in Game 6 against the Thunder in Denver. But, yeah. Also, he is a role player, so you can't really expect him to replicate that, especially not in back-to-back games. So, this is where it gets kind of interesting and a little bit murky, but yeah. And then Game 5, I want to shout out Christian Brown as well. Game 6, Game 7, Jokic I really liked as well in that Game 6. And then Game 7, you know, Aaron Gordon, hamstring strain, but he still had a double-double. Like what I saw from Christian Brown. Jokic, especially in that first half, was amazing. He just, I guess, was getting battered by Caruso, apparently fouling him, things of that nature. But yeah, we got officially Thunder versus Timberwolves and Pacers versus Knicks. 4 of those teams, one will prevail. Who do you think is going to be? Can't wait to see what happens. Can't wait to see what transpires. Great hoops are on the way. Knicks versus Indiana. They have a rivalry, we know. Wally Zerbiak, post-game comments, and back in the day, Reggie Miller choking the Knicks. And we also have, obviously, their rivalry from now on. And then we also have the Aura Bowl, quote-unquote, the Aura Bowl, the Thunder versus the Timberwolves. You know, SGA versus Ant. Both apparently pulsating with Aura. Both Aura is just pulsating, apparently. So, you know, it's going to be really good. You know, 2 teams known for their defense. I want to see what the matchup is talking about. I'm going to guess that, you know, what Lou Dort, probably see some J-Dub, some Caruso. A lot of people throwing at Anthony Edwards now for SGA. Jaden McDaniels is going to be locked to him, you know. Maybe see some gnaw on him as well. Maybe at points see somebody else. I don't know. But yeah, probably have what Gobert guarding maybe Chet, at points Ihart as well. And then Randall guarding either Chet or Ihart. Yeah, that will be fun. We'll be there. We will definitely be there. Yeah. But other than that, yo, that is the video. So go down below, drop a like, comment down below, sub up, make sure to follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok, and the boy John. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, and I'm out, man. Peace.